AM 1290 and 98.3 FM.
On translator K250 2FP.
Newstalk KGVO.
KGVO Missoula Sports Talk tonight and streaming online at newstalkkgvo.com.
Well, Mr. Denny Bedard, I would tell you that it is a beautiful evening and day in the Garden City of Missoula, but
it's hiding out there somewhere.
Flat out, it just sucks.
Yeah.
And I was up in Plains today through Arlee. It doesn't get any better. It is absolutely miserable. And by the way, this is Sports Talk Tonight with Gerns and Bedard. I want to rant for a minute. You know, I'm a conservative guy, right? And I'm listening to a speech on the radio, and our Mr. President Trump is talking about the terrible flooding and all the stuff that's going on down there in Texas and soon to be Florida, Louisiana. And he's in North Dakota, and he's talking about the severe drought that they're having up there and across the country. He didn't even mention anything about the fires burning in Montana.
Made you want to run across the screen with a Go Grizz shirt on, didn't it?
You know. But anyways.
Yeah.
But we're here in a nice...
Try not to take it too personal.
We're here in the nice air-conditioned, I think, studio of KGVO.
Yep.
Another edition of Sports Talk Tonight, Denny. We are streaming worldwide on newstalkkgvo.com. Follow us on Twitter at Sports Talk Back. Podcast online at newstalkkgvo.com. Our phone number is always 406-721-1290. You might want to use that number in case you've got a question for the awesome... For you. For the awesome Dave Guffey, because I
bet somebody will.
Full of knowledge. Our special guest tonight, former sports information director of the University of Montana, author, historian, statistician, Dave Guffey. Hi, Dave.
As Yogi Berra would say. No, never mind. No,
you know what Yogi used to say?
Yeah, I do. The old movie adage, though, smoke them if you got them. You don't need to have them in Missoula. Just walk outside.
Oh, boy, I tell you.
Well, we're glad we got you, though. It's been a while.
It's like deja vu all over again, because I used to do the show with you guys, and I miss it, and I miss you guys, and it's good to be here.
Miss you too, Guff.
We made our season debut on Saturday, the statewide tailgate show and the post game. We didn't award game balls, you know. I mean, we're not required from any sales or sponsorship commitment to award a game ball, but we got a little bit busy. We were running a little bit late. And we didn't award any game balls for the Grizz victory over Valparaiso.
Well, why don't we do it right now?
Gerns, your game ball for the 45-23. Did I get that right? Yeah, 45-23 victory goes to.
I'm going to go offense, and why don't you go defense? Just because.
Oh.
How about that?
Well, all right.
That's an easy one.
It is my offensive game ball is going to go to Reese Phillips, basically playing for the first time in 4 years. Everybody was, first half he looked like crap. Well, you know what? He should have looked like crap. He had not been in a game of any kind of meaning, basically, since high school.
Yeah.
He got better every play.
Oh, man, 27-38, passed for 381 yards, and by the end of the game, he was putting it in, he was spinning it, as we like to say. He was spinning it.
That's your new word, isn't it? Ever since Bob Stitt was talking about how he hooked up with Reese Phillips through a former Kentucky assistant coach, and the assistant coach calls Coach Stitt and says, "Hey, in fact, I should see if I can find that."
He stole that from me, Denny.
Oh, he did not. I'll see if I can find that real quick here. I think I can. Let's see. He was talking about. Let's see. Yeah. He was talking. Do we have time to do this, Gern?
Sure.
Can I play this?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the setup is that the way Coach Stitt met Reese Phillips is that he got a phone call from a former Kentucky assistant coach that had been let go, but I don't know if he recruited Reese, but he was on that coaching staff when Reese was playing for Kentucky, and things start to go sideways. Well, this assistant gets a hold of Bob. I hope you guys can hear this okay. It goes something like this.
Reese was there with Shannon and didn't really feel like he was going to get a chance, with the coaching staff there, and Shannon lost his job, and Shannon called me. I was in Lincoln, Nebraska, sitting in a restaurant when I got a call from Shannon, and he just told me, he said, "You got to trust me on this. There's not going to be a lot of tape that you can watch," because he didn't play a lot at Kentucky, but he said, he spins the ball as good as anybody I've ever been around. And when you have a guy that's an air raid coach that's coached at a lot of different places say that, then you got to listen. And I called Reese. I interviewed him. He came for a visit. We loved him, and thankfully we got him here. And he is a great teammate, a great leader, and I really hope he can go out and have a great first start.
I'd say he did, but there's where the spin thing came
from. Now, if you go back and you slow that down, I think he actually says,
Do I have to play
he says, Reese, he wins y'all. He wins y'all. And, because it's Kentucky and they speak in the southern dialect. So the spins came from me.
Ever since I played that, though, and I asked you, is that what receivers like? They like a QB that can spin it? That's been your word.
It has been my word.
I like it.
And one of the worst spinners of a ball at University of Montana would be Dave Dickinson. He put it in the right spots, but it isn't necessarily a very tight football.
A little bit of a wobble to it, would you say?
But it was
the timing was impeccable.
Oh,
yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
So
my game ball goes to Reese Phillips. What about you, Dave?
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
You can even go special teams too, as opposed to defense.
No, I'll go defense. I mean, I guess my inclination would be pick Tucker Shy, and I don't think that's a bad pick. But I think our linebacker James Banks kind of set the tone, especially when they needed it most. I mean, he made a couple of he made some pretty good plays, pretty good tackles throughout the game. But there was one when Valparaiso all of a sudden got a little upstart on us there, and they were driving down the field, and they got in the red zone, and he made a stop that I wouldn't say it turned the game around, but it made the difference between a potential touchdown and a field goal. But he had a very nice game overall, just consistently throughout the game, other than that one stuffed tackle, nothing that necessarily jumped out at you, but I liked his play on Saturday, so that would be my defensive game ball.
Well, and how about our special teams balls? Eric Williams was averaged 53.3 a punt.
Yeah.
Mr. Purdy was 1 for 1 on field goals, 6 for 6 on extra points. It was nice to see us do well in the special teams. Exactly. Make the ones you're supposed to make, right?
Yeah.
And PATs would be included in that.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
But man, Eric Williams, not only his accuracy but his hang time, he had a wonderful game. We'd like to see that all season long.
So 45-23 victory. Guffey, you're always going to be a part of the University of Montana. You're not walking the halls so much anymore, and such. So you might be able to say a little bit more that's on your mind.
Well,
what did you overall first game? What were your impressions?
To put it in perspective, to use my favorite head coach's cliche, Don Reed, the offense was total vanilla. They're not going to show anything. They're waiting for Eastern Washington, and I hope they do. It was disappointing. It seemed unimaginative. Reese had a bad start, as you say, hadn't spun one in 5 years, and when he came on, he's going to run the ball more in the offense in the future, I think, and we need that. My player of the game, even though he probably didn't have great stats, I love Josh Buss. He reminds me of Brock Coyle. He just has that sixth instinct. He's always near the play, although Banks can run pretty well too. And I'd like to give it to Evan Epperly, except he missed that pick. Darn it!
Pick six right there.
A pick six for the junior from Kalispell.
I think we had a couple of those.
That big fork in Kalispell, starting at safety.
Well, you look at the game and. You had a couple things going on. First half was a little bit sluggish, and we've kind of talked about that. We had 2 turnovers going into their territory that really stopped and killed drives for us. They had 2 deep pass plays that got them down. We held them both times for field goals, if my memory serves me correct. Yeah. You clean up those 2 plays, you don't have the 2 turnovers, and that first half is maybe a 4-touchdown game. Mm-hmm. Take it into the second half, you started seeing things clicking. Tackling was a little bit better, and like you were alluding to, Epperly and McKinley had a pick 6 as well. Right. I mean, you make all the plays that you should make and hold on to the balls when you shouldn't. And, I mean, 45-23 is it's an okay score, and Valparaiso was definitely not a pushover. I mean, they're a solid club.
They were much better than I think all of us thought they would be.
So, don't discount the first half and when they kind of started getting sync, and not to mention we're missing 2 potential all Big Sky players on defense in Strom and Strong. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, not a bad start.
I think especially at safety, that's got to be a concern on some of those deep balls that got over the top, because like you and I were talking about during the post-game show, you take on an opponent like Washington, you worry about a lot of one-play drives with the quarterback and receiving tandems that they have.
Speed for days. Speed for days. That is, aside from depth, it's all about speed when you get to that next level. And
Exactly.
And it might take their angles that they're used to taking are going to have to change because they're going to need to go a little bit deeper on everything.
Well, and getting back to Reese Phillips and not having started a game since a high school kid, Riley Corcoran, our play-by-play announcer, actually had the hundreds of days, the exact number of days that it had been since he had been a starter anywhere. I don't care if it's your home fans. That is a loud, excitable place, and you make your debut in front of them, you're going to be nervous. I mean, that's just, even though you're playing at home, you're going to be tight. And, I thought he relaxed a lot and did play a much better second half. But you mentioned Vanilla. You didn't see anything in the offensive sets. I thought I saw a couple little things that maybe were different than last year, but you didn't really nothing jumped out at you as maybe something that you wouldn't classify in the vanilla part of the playbook?
Well, it's funny. Guff just said Eastern Washington, and I thought you misspoke for a second, but you didn't.
No.
Because that's when it actually starts to happen. And we made mention to this. It doesn't matter what you show or you don't show the University of Washington.
Exactly.
I mean, honestly. Yeah. I mean, they are going to be ready for it. And vanilla also had a lot to do with the defense that they were playing in the first half. I mean, they were playing deep and we were going underneath the whole time. When we started airing it down deep, good things happened, but and then they had to start taking some chances too by bringing their corners up, but it was vanilla, and that's just kind of.
And I credit Valpo's offense too. I thought they were smart. They were methodical. They went for the big play occasionally. They played ball control football, trying to keep the ball away from the Grizzlies in their air attack. And I think in the future, Reese Phillips is going to rush for 60, 70 yards again. He fumbled his only called rush of the game. And for that running game to work, the quarterback has got to run the ball every now and then. And he didn't. He didn't have to. He will in the near future, however.
Got to keep him honest, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it looked like he could do it. I mean, it was too bad he fumbled. But, when he took off, I thought, okay, this is a good thing. I'd like to see it a few more times. And then we didn't. But like you say, it was not mandatory. And you play an opponent like that. Now you root for him. You want him to do well during the rest of the season.
Of course.
Kind of like St. Francis last year. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to think they do well, although I guess I would argue, they made some pretty dang good plays that if they did that consistently if they had a reputation for doing that consistently as a team, they probably wouldn't be picked 10th in the what are they, the Pioneer League?
If that's the worst team in their league, Pioneer Leagues must be pretty darn good.
I think they could surprise some.
I don't want to imply that they got lucky a few times, but I'd say they probably couldn't do it too much better than they did on some of those long balls.
No, and it was. I tell you what, that was a perfect first game opponent for the University of Montana.
I think so.
Really was. I mean, with the new quarterback and, not the patsy, but still at your level, still competition. I mean, you'll be able to take a lot of things away from that game.
And this upcoming game against Washington, we get on the air at 4 p.m., I believe, with the statewide tailgate show, but not side by side. You're getting pretty excited about a little trip you're taking.
Yeah, you bet. Washington, here I come. I was just back there about 3 weeks ago, but haven't been to a game in Husky Stadium since I was a senior in high school. Mm-hmm. Actually, I've only been to I'm an hour from there. I've been to 2 games: the Apple Cup in 1985, and the University of Colorado and Washington in the fall of 1989, and I was a big Colorado Buff fan. And that was a game after Sal Onesi died.
Wow, yeah.
Their quarterback, and I took a little recruiting trip up there. Not an official one, mind you, but great place to play. They've renovated the joint. Going to the Mariners game the night before with the Grizzly Alumni Association party, and at my dad's memorial on Sunday, and then home. So
busy guy.
It'll be fun.
So hopefully you and I will be able to establish contact, and all the gear will work. And
if we don't, it's Don Perkins' fault.
We'll find somebody to blame.
Hey,
if nothing else, you can make a phone call.
That's right. Talking just really fast on University of Washington, they kind of started a little bit sluggish against their game.
Watched them.
Went on the road to Rutgers. They've got a quarterback named Jake Browning who 17 of 30, not the best pass completion percentage. Threw for 284 yards. He's got some weapons. Pettis is just faster than fast. Their running back Gaskin has got some moves. He is shifty. He catches the ball out of the backfield as well. And then they've had so many first-round draft picks on defense the past 2 or 3 years, and they just keep coming. It is.
Well, I mean, Ross was the number 9 pick, that wide receiver who ran
John
ran like a
Ross.
4.3, 4.40 or something ridiculous like that. But he was and I think they had 3 defensive backs before the second round.
Yeah, Buda Baker, I think,
That's
was
right.
the second-round guy. Shalon Baker's cousin, I believe, second
I
cousin.
didn't know that.
Yep.
Huh?
Interesting.
Yep, Shalon Baker, the touchdown maker.
I remember that.
No, they're the Huskies are the real deal. Even though the Grizz did beat them the first time they played, it was only 100 years ago in
That's right.
1920. And it was the only home game in the series too.
And by the way, I talked to Shalon on Sunday, and we've decided that we would like to go into the Grizzly Hall of Fame together. He said that if
What
we
are you looking at him for?
he said that
about
would be fine. Well, Guff's got some pull.
All right.
Get out your check.
Is that why you invited him, you Scalloway?
It wasn't me, but
Oh,
I
wait,
saw an
did.
opportunity.
I invited Dave. That's right.
Uh,
Yeah.
Somebody has to nominate you first.
I know.
Shalon's been nominated to the. So anybody could nominate.
Guy that's got more yards doesn't get nominated.
Just look
Shalon's
online,
been
Diddy.
nominated.
You can nominate your colleague.
All right.
Hey,
All right.
hey, I had
I'll
most.
nominate you for the broadcaster part if you nominate me, Guff. How's that?
Sold American.
Now, what's his
Yeah.
name over there? He can just wait.
I had most punts in a season one time. Damn it!
Yeah.
Gurns was a hell of a
Not,
punter.
not a good punt. Not a good stat to
Yeah.
have though.
Yeah. I don't know how you can take any credit for that, but
Hey, we are going to take a break, but when we come back, we will have more with Dave Guffey and. Oh shoot! Boy, I tell you what.
Is that my
Danny,
swag there?
yeah, I do. I do have some lovely parting gifts for you.
I always forget
sweet.
about
Thank
the
you.
trivia. Denny, give us the.
All right.
Let's do the trivia.
721-1290. If you know our trivia, we are brought to you by Happy Days Car Wash and Fuddruckers. So we got a $10 gift certificate to Fuddruckers, world's greatest hamburgers. Whatever you order off that amazing menu, you get to pile on the toppings yourself to make it exactly the way you like it. Nice selection of local microbrews on tap, too, at Fuddruckers on North Reserve. And from Brent and the crew at Happy Days Car Wash, we have a gift card for the Works Car Wash. Man, you want a good car wash, you go to Happy Days. Understand, and they have new vacuums now, too, that are just, Kyle, our executive producer, says, you have got to go get your car vacuumed over at Happy Days. They are absolutely unbelievable. Happy Days Car Wash on Brooks between Fairbridge Inn and Suites and Pizza Hut. So we've got the gift card for the Works. If you know the answer, 721-1290. And we'll get into this topic, too, kind of a bittersweet sort of thing. And I know Dave will have some words to say about Grizzly basketball great Delvon Anderson, who passed away last week. Delvon played 2 glorious seasons for the Grizz, 90-91 and 91-92. That 91-92 team, arguably the best Montana basketball team ever, went 27-4 that season. That did include a narrow, hard-fought loss in the opening round of the NCAA tournament to A, Florida State, B, Kansas, or C, UCLA. That 27-4 team lost the opening round of the NCAA tournament in 1992 to A, Florida State, B, Kansas, or C, UCLA. 721-1290, Gurns, and this prize package, of course, puts you in a higher income bracket. We need a winner right now.
Give us a call. Make yourself feel good on this smoky evening.
Can I give him a hint?
No, only if we don't get a winner, then you can get me.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Sports Talk Tonight.
Talk tonight on KGVO.
Missoula Sports.
Every second of every day.
We are back. Sports Talk Tonight, brought to you in part by Grizzly Liquor, located downtown next to the Iron Horse. Big Sky, big selection, and online at grizzlyliquor.com. By the Orange Street Food Farm, locally owned and operated grocery store featuring the freshest fruits and vegetables, fresh meats, and a great beer and wine selection. And by the Ranch Club, golf, dining, entertainment, events, and the incredible pool. Visit them online at ranchclub.com, located just off Mullen Road.
Yes, sir.
Denny.
Hey, good friend of the station, a good friend of the Grizz, Carl Tyler on the line. How you doing tonight, Carl?
Hey, I'm doing super, thank you.
Remember Dave Guffey's reign as sports information director, Carl?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Me and Carl played poker together a few times at some tournaments around town over the years.
Is that right?
Yeah. I believe
that's right.
It lasted way longer than I did. I guarantee you that.
Are you wearing your cowboy hat, Carl?
Yes.
Well, actually, no. I was just driving home with a new saddle to put on my horse and go rope some steers.
Nice.
Cool.
All right. Well, we'll talk basketball before we're open here. Grizzly great Delvon Anderson passed away last week. He played 2 great years for the Grizz, 90-91, 91-92. And that 91-92 team are arguably the best Montana basketball team ever, 27-4, which included a narrow loss in the opening round of the NCAA tournament to A, Florida State, B, Kansas, or C, UCLA. What do you think there, Carl?
Well, Florida State sounds the best.
Some of our NCAA tourney losses have been, shall we say, mighty lopsided, but that wasn't one of them, though. The Grizz held pretty tough before finally losing to the Seminoles, 78-68. Guff, I assume you were there for that.
I was there, and as we were talking off air during the break, Florida State full court press the Grizzlies. I think the Grizz were down like 20-2 out of the blocks. Then they played great the rest of the way, but could not make it up. But they competed very well. And ironically, the head coach for FSU was Pat Kennedy, who came to coach the Grizzlies years later.
I should have been on that factoid. That's a good one. But yeah, Florida State was the answer we're looking for. Carl, we really appreciate you listening. We'll let you get to roping, and thanks for listening to the show. We'll get your prizes mailed off to you. All right.
Hey, thank you very much.
Right,
Fun talking to you guys.
Likewise. Carl Totter, our latest winner here on Sports Talk Tonight, Kern.
Cool.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Good to hear from him. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Delvon Anderson.
Yeah.
You know what?
What a strange week for Grizzly basketball.
My first year was his first year here. He was had a little afro, wasn't a big one, but just always smiling. Went out of his way to be nice to he was new and I was too. So I hung out with him a little bit. Always hustled, and I guess one word I could describe his play is just gritty. I mean, he not only could he score, but he did he played defense. He set 10 steals in a game.
Yeah.
Didn't he? The record. I mean, that you needed to enjoy. Anderson was telling me this, former Lady Grizz player, that whenever you needed somebody to energize the crowd or get things going, Dell was there to slam it home or come up with a big play. And I just remember him just being a nice guy. And saw him a few times on the road at Grizzly football games down in California or wherever, and a true Grizzly great.
He really was. He actually became a mailman in San Francisco, then went back and got his degree, and actually got a master's degree, and had a really good job. And he reminded, when I think of Tim Houck when he played football, I used to watch him on special teams just to see what he'd do. Delvon Anderson the same way on basketball. You just watched him because he never stopped hustling, playing. He just played hard, and he played great. Out of San Francisco City College, which is kind of a rarity for a JC kid to just fit in that well, and Blaine Taylor got a good recruit there.
I've never really sat down and carefully thought it out without letting any emotion or bias. But if somebody said name your all Grizz starting 5, I would not hesitate to put him on there.
Oh, for sure.
Well, and the weird thing is too that he's first team All Big Sky.
Right.
It was also the Big Sky co-MVP with Kevin Soares, who was the guard at Nevada Reno, who was outstanding. But they listed Delvon as a guard. Well, he played the 3. Right. He played the 3 at 6'2.5". Yeah. I think we listed him at 6'4". He was 6'2.5".
Isn't that a sports information director's job? Okay, Guff.
Yeah, it is to give a couple more inches.
This guy's 6'2.5", but I want you to put in the press guide that he's 6'4".
We didn't do that in football, though. It's like Derek Pope. Derek Pope was listed at 6'6".
Right.
He was 6'4.5". He could jump like he was 6'10".
That I did not know, because he had the wingspan of about an 8-foot guy.
He did.
I knew that about Delvon. I did not know that about Derek Pope. I thought
no, he was
6'6" was legit.
6'4.5". Kid out of Colorado, and he could jump out of the gym too. But Delvon, that was a great. I think that was the greatest team ever, as you alluded to, Denny. 27-4. They had a 4 overtime win against Pepperdine on the road. That team. They had a guard named Doug Christie at that time, who later had a pretty good career. But another Grizzly team went 27-4. It was the 49-50 Grizzly basketball team. But no offense to Jigs Dahlberg, I mean, they had wins over like the A&B Meat Packing Company and stuff like that. It was not the same deal.
Yeah, no.
With what Blaine did with that team, and they could have won that game and gone on. I think at least to the second round, which is, of course, has only happened once. But
You were responsible, of course, part of your job as sports information director. You had to write a lot of player profiles. Do you remember anything you wrote about Scott Guernsey?
Yeah, he was a great player, great hands. He ran like
future. Did you say future Hall of Famer by any chance?
No, I did not.
Okay.
We didn't have the Hall of Fame then. It was initiated, I think, during his playing career in '93.
Hey, with a guy like this Guernsey, we got to have a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, because he might.
That's it. He started it all. Actually, Wayne Hogan came up with the idea because they used to have a Hall of Fame for every sport. Well, football, basketball, track, and he wanted to merge them as one, and he did. And there were several initial inductees, of course, and now I think there's somewhere in the like 62 or something like that. It's hard to get in there. It's really hard to get in there. So you never know. But anyone can nominate anybody. I'm talking to anyone who can hear this. Just go online to gogrizz.com.
All right.
And if you want to nominate your favorite Grizz player or coach, it's pretty easy to do.
Well, and there's a lot of Grizzly athletes in every sport out there that probably deserve a nod or some consideration or what have you.
There's a lot of them. It's very competitive, and it's harder now, I think, because the committee's a little tighter now. But
as it should be.
Yeah, exactly. It's an elite group. Yeah.
As it should
Anyway,
be.
We digress. Delvon Anderson, of course, Judd Heathcote recently passed.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a little bit before your time as SID.
Right.
I was thinking that you started your career just kind of on the end of Judd's career at Montana, but there was a couple of years gap in there.
There was. And of course, Jim Brandenburg took over for Judd when he left to go to Michigan State. And then after 2 years as an assistant, Mike Montgomery was elevated to the head job. That's when I started Mike's first year, which was 78-79. So I only got to see Michael Ray Richardson play in person once, and ironically, it was at Fresno State when I worked as a stringer at the newspaper in Fresno, and I think he scored like 25 points and fouled out, but I saw he was the real deal, and that would have been 1978 that I saw Michael Ray in Fresno, California, who of course became the 4th pick of the NBA draft by Willis Reed, the New York Knicks. You know the story quite well, but Judd started everything here. I didn't realize his Washington State freshman team was so phenomenal, his coaching record there, until I read the article in the paper. That is in fact where Judd went to school. He was a Cougar, went to Wazoo, and had great success as a freshman coach there. And then somebody took a chance. I think it was Jack Swarthout, who was the AD at the time, football coach AD, hired him and took a big gamble. Judd who? And guess what? That worked out all right.
Well, that's probably not the first time. There's probably some football fans that said Don who, back in 86 or whenever it was. Probably some
absolutely.
Kind of deal.
Sure. Right.
And definitely one of the architects of a lot of Grizzly basketball success. Anything that you miss the most about the day-to-day routine of that, Dave?
Just getting to know the players.
Yeah.
And the coaches, of course, too. It becomes a lot more personal. The wins and losses are harder to take. They're also more fun. In Grizzly football case, it's been a lot of wins in the last 30 years. And just to have that one losing season, 3 years ago, and it was a phenomenal run. And I hope Bob and his team can continue to do it. I like their chances. The fact they were picked 6 is a good pick for them. They can sneak up. I like their schedule. The fact they got Eastern here, North Dakota here. Not that the road trip is going to be that easy to like a Pocatello and Weber.
Here.
NAU is here, and those are some really good. I really like this football team, and they're going to get better.
Yep, I agree. Portland State and Weber State, the top.
Portland State opened my eyes a little.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, same here.
I'm not sure how good the Beavers are. But
yeah, I don't. Yeah. But anyways, hey, when we come back, more with Dave Guffey. We got Steal of the Week, we got Stupid Athlete of the Week, and we also have Denny and my Big Sky picks for the football season with records. I've even got who they're losing to, Denny. My 10 minutes of homework this afternoon.
You really researched this.
Yes, I did, Denny.
Game at Keeney call. He was North Dakota State at Eastern.
You're just going to have to wait, Denny.
That could be it.
We'll be back with more Sports Talk Tonight.
Sports Talk Tonight, live from the KGVO studio.
Missoula Sports.
We're back. Sports Talk Tonight, brought to you in part by Bell McCall Ford. great selection of new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Bell McCall is your locally owned low-cost auto dealer for over 100 years in beautiful downtown Hamilton. And by Granite Pharmacy, locally owned and operated pharmacy on South Avenue between Shopko and Big Sky High School. Find them at granitepharmacy.com. And our guests, as always, Mr. Dave Guffey, brought to you by First Montana Bank, your home for free centennial checking plus unlimited cash back every time you use your debit card, online at firstmontanabank.com.
So, you can show off now. And we didn't tell Dave about this, so he didn't get a chance to prepare something, but he can probably just wing it off the top of his head and do better than us anyway.
Usually Dave's enlightening me and filling me with knowledge, and this is my chance to give back.
Never met a microphone I haven't liked.
So this could be a Hall of Fame quarter hour for you.
You guys are killing me. You're okay. I should go on the record. I am the chairman of the Grizzly Sports Hall of Fame. In case you're wondering about this, subtle.
I knew that hot light in your face eventually.
The lobbying here. I've been the chairman since the 1993 that Grizzly Sports Hall of Fame was started. Even though I left UM, I'm still doing that. So I have a little influence, but not quite as much as these guys think.
Yeah. Well, if I get inducted in the next couple of years,
and I'm driving a new Mercedes, something's up, right?
Late July, of course, the Big Sky Conference convenes in Park City, Utah, and they do the coaches poll and the media poll to pick how the teams will finish in the Big Sky Conference.
I don't even know I don't remember that poll except that we were finished 6th. But
yeah, well, I think in both coaches and media.
Anyways, Denny, why don't we go with the bottom 4 schools?
All right,
bottom 4. I've got and now from what and you know what, I haven't looked to see what starters are coming back. I kind of looked at the schedule to see home and away games, and I'm kind of just going off of these first couple games. But boy, Cal Poly's looked like crap.
Did you watch the Colgate game?
Yeah,
I saw that game.
I mean, I've got them at the very bottom in the Big Sky Conference, finishing at 1-7.
All right, so that's number 13. I'll write that beside my Cal Poly.
And you know what? In no particular order, the next 3 all at 2-6. UC Davis.
All right, so that's your 12.
Sac State.
That's your 11.
Idaho State.
All right.
And then with the same record of 2-6, I've got the Bobcats.
So that is your number 9 team.
That is my number 9. And depending on blah, 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 those could be inner deals. What do you got for your bottom 5, Mr. Bedard?
My bottom 5 are at number 13, Sacramento State. 12, UC Davis. Pretty much for the same reasons, you came up with. 11, I thought I'd do Rob Fennessy a favor and only put Idaho State as low as 11. So my number 9 pick.
Who's your 10?
I'm sorry, my number 10 pick is Southern Utah.
Okay.
And you need one more, don't you?
Sure, give me 9.
My number 9 is Northern Colorado.
Northern Colorado. And you know what? That's the thing with schools like Northern Colorado and Southern Utah, the teams that we don't know a whole heck of a lot about because they're not traditional league members. I don't know. Northern Colorado played good last year. Had a kind of a resurgent year. Southern Utah was a little bit down, but you just, you never know with those schools.
No, and the Grizz played terrible at Northern Colorado, as we know.
Yeah. And just to let you know, looking at the Cats' schedule and how they played in their first game. By the way, 28 yards passing and 143 yards total offense against a lower-ranked defensive team historically in all of football. Not too impressive. But anyways, I got them going 2-6, losing to North Dakota, Portland State, Eastern Washington, Northern Colorado, NAU, and the University of Montana. Their only 2 victories are Idaho State and Weber State. And that Weber State could be a
that was the surprise team of the year last year. I thought the Wildcats. Yeah.
Yep. So
they tend not to be able to sustain any kind of success though. So you had where'd I leave off? So
number 9.
Number 9 was for me it was Northern Colorado. Number 8 was that's where I put the Bobcats. I picked the Bobcats to finish 8th, and then moving up, I'm not sure. I guess I tend to agree with you a little bit on Cal Poly. You just never quite know how that offense that they run is going to work sometimes. But I didn't drop them down. I left them at number 7. So
all right. Well, my number 8 and number 7 are with identical 4-4 records are University of Northern Colorado and Southern Utah. All right. I've got Northern Colorado losing to NAU, North Dakota, University of Montana, and on the road against Sac State. And then I've also got Southern Utah losing to Weber State, Northern Colorado, North Dakota, and on the road against Sac State. Sac's 2 wins of the year against those guys. Then
your worst Big Sky team is going to have 2 wins. Nobody's going to go
one. Cal Poly 1-7.
1-7. Excuse me. Okay. Nobody 0-8.
Nope. I got 6-5-4. 3 teams all at 5-3. NAU, Weber State, and Eastern Washington. NAU losing at Southern Utah to the University of Montana and Portland State. Weber State losing to Portland State, University of Montana, and Eastern Washington. And Eastern Washington losing to University of Montana, North Dakota, and on the road at Southern Utah.
Oh, on the road at Southern Utah. Wow.
You're 6-4 or
6-5-4?
6-5-4.
I left Weber State at number 6. I think the media and the coaches had them 5, and it was just sort of a toss-up pick on that one. And I think their first game of the year showed absolutely nobody anything. Come on, FCS, you don't schedule an NAIA school. You just don't do it. I don't care how tight the budget is. No, you find it at least a division.
How about Northern Colorado's next game?
Florida.
Oh,
ouch!
And then Colorado.
Yeah. Well, they'll have some money in the piggy bank.
Those guarantee games. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So I left Weber State there. When I picked in the preseason, I did not put. I think maybe I had Portland State down around 7 somewhere in there, but pretty impressive. Even though they went 0-2, they went 0-2 against the FBS. They put up a pretty good showing. They did well against BYU. And they did very well against Oregon State. Now you could argue, well, where do those teams, and land in the big picture as far as FBS is concerned? They probably don't show very well, but still, you had to play them both on the road. You played against a couple pretty big, loud crowds, and you did all right by yourself. So I put Portland State at 5, 6-5-4, 4. Just an awful lot of, not in a negative way, but when you lose that much talent and you lose a couple of your premier coaches, that's tough. It's tough to stay up top, so I put Eastern Washington at number 4. And like you, I think I not necessarily Southern Utah, but I could see a couple of those losses. Likewise, one to Montana and probably North Dakota. So I put them at number 4. And it was kind of... with their history of fading down the stretch, I thought, well, Northern Arizona, what do you got going on in November? Whatever you have, it doesn't ever seem easy for you guys, but we'll go ahead and give you the benefit of the doubt at number 3.
All right. Well, my third place team is Portland State at 6-2. I've got them losing to North Dakota and on the road at Eastern Washington. And then my top 2 schools, both at 7-1, I've got North Dakota and University of Montana. North Dakota is going to get beat here at home against us, and we are going to go on the road and lose to Portland State. Now, 7-1 and 7-1.
You own the tiebreaker. Is that how you're saying?
Doesn't matter. You're Montana. You're host of a playoff game anyway. Sorry.
So Portland. Let's see. You've beaten Portland State, and I don't even know if you win the tiebreaker, but and I suppose it doesn't even matter so much anymore. You got 24 teams, but that's how I see it. Who do you got? What, 1 and 2?
My second place vote went to North Dakota. My first place vote, I was the one knucklehead in the official media preseason poll that picked Montana first. Is there any personal bias there? Yeah, a whole bunch. But like you, I kind of looked at the schedule and thought this team is going to be good enough by the time conference rolls around to if you don't, what an opportunity to win the Big Sky Conference title with the teams that you have playing at home. Crowds are just going to be insane, and I think they're good enough to do it. especially when you start breaking it down. Eastern Washington going through a transition period. North Dakota, well, you can make them one-dimensional. You got to play good offense because they got a very good defense, but you can make them one-dimensional. Northern Arizona, you never quite know. They usually get touted for their defensive schemes and disguising things. Pretty good running back, pretty good wide receiver. Their young quarterback is back, but they typically perform well at Washington Grizzly Stadium. But I thought, well, okay, you finally pulled one out, but not well enough to sustain 4 quarters and win it. So I just thought, what a favorable schedule and an opportunity for Montana to go 7-1 or 8-0.
Well, yeah, a good schedule. At home, you got North Dakota, Eastern Washington, NAU, and University of North Carolina, Northern Colorado. On the road, Idaho State, which is sometimes a tough trip.
Yeah,
you go play Bozeman. It's a rivalry game, and you got Weber State and Portland State on the road too.
Oh yeah,
so,
it's not.
I mean, it's a and you could, you have an injury here, some misfortune there. I mean, and
I acknowledge it's not a layup drill,
and that goes for anybody in the conference.
I was just going to say the same thing.
Guff, have you ever seen the conference this balanced? Does it seem more balanced than it used to be? I mean, maybe back to the Nevada Boise days.
Well, and that's what I tell people. The Big Sky Conference is like it used to be now, with Nevada in there and Idaho in there. I mean, it's Boise State, of course. They were very, very good all the time. And Idaho will be viable once they're back. Believe me, you guys both know that. But yeah, it's a bit more balanced, much more talented, especially in football, probably overall, especially in football. Of course, you have different schools playing football, different schools playing basketball at this point. But I love Santiago, North Dakota's running back. He's one of the best I've seen in a long time.
Well, and who's the bigger guy they got too?
He's scary.
There's another guy too.
It's a 1-2 punch.
Yeah. I mean,
no, it's a terrific running game.
Yeah, and a quarterback who can move and throw, and I would probably pick them first and the Grizz second if it was me. But then again, we do have them at home. The schedule, as you guys alluded to, is pretty favorable for the Grizz. It really is. Mm-hmm. Now, that being said, look at Florida State. Opener, you lose your sophomore quarterback, who was a great one. I felt so bad for that kid. That can happen to anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the Grizz last year, the quarterback situation there. You never know.
Yep. Same could be true of all teams. It can be said of all teams. So
yeah, I think there's you can definitely see the haves and the have-nots in the league. Though there's definitely a top 6 or 7, and there's definitely a lower 6 and 7, and then you'll get the Webers that go 5-3, or the Southern Utahs that go. I mean, there's always going to be that team, but yeah. Oh boy.
And there's the crowd factor at Washington Grizzly Stadium. I mean, no one else has that. The Cats do a pretty good job of it. After that, you go to Weber, and the Grizz will bring 2,000 fans to Ogden. It's a different deal, but nevertheless, you're playing on the road, and it's harder.
Yeah, it is. It is. Hey, we're going to take one more break. When we come back, Steal of the Week, Stupid Athlete of the Week, and a little more with Dave Guffey when we come back. Sports Talk Tonight.
Now back to Missoula's Sports Talk Tonight on KGVO.
Missoula Sports.
Every second of every day.
We are back. Sports Talk Tonight brought to you in part by CHS Mountain West Co-op, Western Montana's source for Cynic's fuel, feed, fertilizer, clothing, and tack for over 75 years. Jerry Wessel's Tire Center. Locally owned Les Schwab Tire Center provides the best tire value promise. Visit them online at jerrywesselstirecenter.com. And by the Peak Health and Wellness, with 3 premier facilities in Missoula and a dedicated staff to help you achieve and maintain your health and wellness goals. Get to the Peak, because you're not doing much running outside right now. I'm telling you that. And if you are, you're nuts.
Yeah. It is time, before we get back to Dave Guffey, our special guest tonight, it's time for Scott Guernsey's Steel of the Week, and that brought to you by True North Steel, Western Montana's industry leader in quality manufactured and fabricated steel products. Gerns, your Steel of the Week.
I love football season, Denny, because it makes a Steel of the Week so much easier, because all the drama and stuff happens in football. And this was an easy one. If you were Sunday night watching some college football, you saw UCLA and Texas A&M. UCLA gets that victory 45-44. It was the biggest FBS comeback since 2006. Down 44-10 with 4 minutes and 8 seconds left in the third quarter. It's culminated with the Josh Rosen faked a spike, and then he threw a 10-yard touchdown pass to Jordan Lastly with 43 seconds on the clock. The extra point was good, and the 34-point comeback, unbelievable. UCLA 45, Texas A&M 44.
It was so lopsided, I started channel surfing. And then I'd kind of revisit and go, okay, well, 44-21 or 44-24, 44-30, 44-31, and they've got the ball. And then I just stayed with it. And I was really happy for the kid that caught the winning touchdown pass because he's also the kid that dropped a wide open pass that would have converted a third down. It forced a 4th and 6 in the red zone on that drive. So he came back and redeemed himself nicely.
Well, and pretty close, our comeback in 1993 against South Dakota State. 31-7 at halftime. They score on the opening drive to go up 38-7. It was a 31-point comeback, if my memory serves me correct.
Yep.
And you, like other people, Denny, they were starting to go home to channel surf during that game, and that was fun.
I stayed. I was right there the whole
Dave
game.
We didn't have any choice. We were all still working, right? We probably wanted to leave at halftime, but we didn't.
The Dave Dickinson era, the start of it, right there.
It really was.
Right there.
It was like, and of course, the myth goes that he got in the huddle. Maybe you can confirm this, Gerns. Hey, if anyone doesn't think we can't win this game, get out of here. Did that really?
Oh,
did
yeah.
you really say that?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't care if that's good stuff
for sure. And I remember, I had caught a pass and I was on the far sideline. It was hot that day. I mean, it was hot.
Is that the season opener?
Yes.
Yep.
And
it was very hot.
My shoulder pad is out of my jersey. It's flapping. I try to pull it, and I was so tired that I was like, and I'm tapping my helmet because I'm trying to get out of the game. It's 4th down, and I streak down the sideline, and Dave throws a pass, and we end up winning it. But
that was incredible.
It was.
There's
nuts.
been a few of those, but that would be right in the top 3.
Yep.
Right?
Oh,
Yep.
definitely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Steel of the Week is brought to you by True North Steel. On to Stupid Athlete of the Week.
This one was pretty easy, too, and we all know what's going on over there in North Korea, and it's pretty darn scary. This Kim Jong-un, whatever the heck his name is, going to blow up the world. But my stupid athlete is Dennis Rodman, because he is now offered once again to go over there and try to smooth over things with the president of North Korea. And says for me to go over there and see Kim as much as I have, I basically hang out with him all the time. We laugh, we sing karaoke, we do a lot of cool things together. We ride horses, we hang out, we go skiing, we hardly ever talk politics, and that's the good thing. Almost not a stupider thing has ever been said.
That's beyond stupid.
I mean,
Whatever is beyond stupid, that's way beyond stupid.
Yeah, I mean, that's stupid Esther.
It's speaking of Hall of Fame, that's Hall of Fame stupid.
That is. So I would vote him, but he is my stupid. I mean, come on, man. You know what's funny is this: one of these times he's going to go over there, and he ain't going to come back. I mean,
could be. You never know. They might.
They're just going to keep
a
him
valuable hostage.
Yeah, it's just a combination of scary things we have going on these days with hurricanes, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's my stupid athlete.
All right.
Thank God for college football.
Well, Dave, you're obviously keeping your finger on the pulse of Grizz Nation. What else you been doing since you stepped down as sports information director?
Not that much. The little fly fishing with Joe Yeager. Joe lives up on Rock Creek, 7 miles up Rock Creek, and they finally lifted the ban there so that the common folks could drive down there. Joe and I went fishing, and I had several bites, and he caught several fish, but it was a lot of fun, and been to Flathead a lot. It's been a great summer, but, the best time of the year is college football time, and I'm in heaven right now. I love it.
It was also when you were working, it was your craziest time of year.
Oh, absolutely. Well, to be
absolutely.
able to do something in the fall other than go to football games, and it's kind of it's weird but good.
Yeah, I know you miss it, but I do
miss it.
It's very nice to be able to go home and just like turn on the TV and watch a game as opposed to like writing about stuff and having deadlines and what's up with the deal? They didn't put out a media guide this year.
I know, it's got to be so expensive.
Oh.
Even though the last few years I would print like 30, 40 just to have them.
Oh, yeah.
I'm an old school guy. Like I like to have a newspaper in my hand.
So do I.
I like to have a media guide in my hand. So now I think I'm going to put one on disc and go to Kinko's and print it out so I have one.
Well, and it's not that Eric Taper hasn't done one; he has. And and it's awesome, and it's always awesome. But that's the way of the world. It's put it on social media and out there.
At one point, we were printing media guides for every sport, We were printing game programs on campus, football, basketball, Lady Grizz, and my print budget back in the 80s was almost $100,000, and now it's probably $20,000.
Well, and they brought up a good point too. I was over there at the field house, and a lot of these schools will print really nice, like year-long but they'll sell them.
Yeah,
and I mean, and that's
or give them to their top boosters as a freebie.
I mean, so.
But it's an expensive product. I mean, the media guys probably cost in football about $15,000 a year, to put it in perspective. About 1,100 copies, so that's an expensive item. But yeah, I miss not having one of those babies too.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. I go to a baseball game, and if I get a program, I'm just, my nose is in it the whole. Like, where's this guy from, and how many kids does he have, and what high school do you go to, and what round did he get drafted?
Keeping it. You're keep bringing it home.
My brother's the same way. You are absorbing every little bit of minutia, every little factoid, all the interesting stats and stuff that you may never use or apply to anything.
So
but it's
baseball,
still
football card guy, you know.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yep.
We will be on the air at 4 p.m. with the statewide. I should promote. We had a quote from Coach Stitt a little bit earlier in the show. We officially begin our Bob Stitt coaches shows live from Brooks and Browns. That's from 6 to 7 on Thursday nights. So looking forward to that tomorrow evening. If you can't make it to Brooks and Browns, join the fun there. We'll have it on the radio at the same time. So.
Excellent.
Yeah. Right. So there, I got a little plug in for that. And we'll be on the air at 4 o'clock on Saturday.
We will. I like it'll be. I as a football player, I hated the night games, but as a fan, they're kind of cool.
Grizz Huskies, 66 years last time they met.
Wow.
The Grizz play at Oregon next year, and they play the Huskies again, I think, in 21. So that's those are money games, but they could be brutal.
Yeah. Well, let's keep it within 30, and I'll be a happy kid.
All right.
Amen.
We will talk to you on the radio at 4 p.m.
That's right, Denny. I will travel safe. And
it was great to see you.
I'm going to go to.
Thanks, Denny. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Man.
Clear skies. Here I come.
All right, buddy.
Yeah. Sports Talk Night. Thanks, Guff.
All right, Gurns.